How's it, guys? It's Dark Soul Ryusei. This is part 21 of the Pokemon Yellow playthrough, and before we head out to the last gym, we're gonna go ahead and I went to Celadon City and bought the TM for submission so we can finally give it to Brandon, because I was expecting another move by this point, but you know what? It's just strictly better than Bite. It gives it gives Eric much more type coverage. Even though Brandon can technically learn it, I've already explained in an earlier video why I want him to just keep the double kick. Before we head off to Vermilion City, which is where the last gym is, it's the ground gym. And it is also a gym that we couldn't go to the first time around because, of course, you had to play through the rest of the game to chase the gym leader of that gym back to his gym. That did not come out all that fluid. Oh well. So yes, we're here in Vermilion City finally. And before we head out, or actually no, I don't know if I was checking something here, but I don't know why I stood there for a couple of seconds. Either way, that stupid old guy, everyone remember this, is in the way of getting into the gym straight away. And yes, this should be some clue as to who the gym leader is. We have these stupid floor panels from the Rocket Hideout, the first one, I believe. Didn't get them in Slivko. No, we got those lovely war panels. But anyway, of course, as per regular, we're going to go ahead and fight all of the gym trainers in here. Get all the experience that we need. Because after this gym, we're going to go ahead straight for the only thing that remains. That's the Elite Four. But before we get to the Elite Four, we have to go to Victory Road. But before we get to Victory Road, we have to fight our rival one more time. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So, of course, being the ground-type gym, you actually do have a couple of the oddball Pokemon. I guess it's just natural at this point. They're not even very accurate in the different type coverage. You know, now that I think about it, there weren't that very many off-type ground Pokemon in Gen 1. I mean, yeah, you had the Nido King and Nido Queen ground poisons. And, yeah, you have, of course, the Rhydon, which is ground rock, which is a terrible typing, by the way. It just makes them quad weak to everything else they're already weak to, but I'm not going to complain. The good thing about ground Pokemon is that they boast very powerful offensive capabilities, as seen with Brandon, of course. Speaking of which, we're going to start using him up again. Just, you know, I do feel sort of bad that Brandon didn't get so much video or screen time as he had before, but, you know, we really used him and depended on him heavily in the first quarter of the game, and it just sort of drowned out more and more because we used him solely for so long that he just didn't need the level increase so badly. But yes, now we're finally have the team generally leveled off evenly, and of course he's going to be very useful here because, like I said, like this Rhyhorn here, being part rock, it just carries the additional weakness to ground, and it's just really awesome. And I cannot tell you, you cannot get a better move arguably than Earthquake in this game, and especially when you add the same type attack bonus or stab onto it with Brandon's part ground typing. Of course, this also means that because he's part poison, he's weak to ground as well, so that is a bit of a risk you'd have to take if you're running a Nido King or a Nido Queen or other than that, or the like. Yeah, like I said, some of the more off Pokemon, it doesn't seem to be very well in the type coverage either, because think about it, if you're going against ground, you're either going to have grass or water, generally. Now, of course, you can get the off type with, which is what I'm using with Brandon. But I don't know what the whole idea with fighting Pokemon is. You know, fighting Pokemon are useful against rock types for the most part. They won't be effective anymore until the next generation, which they introduce dark types, which they're also special effective against. But whatever, you know, it's better than having just some random psychic type Pokemon to have to deal with again. That would be especially bad for Brandon because of that poison type. Oh yes, this lovely aspect. These these moving panels are just so annoying if you take one wrong step. You have to wait for the whole trip to be over. So yeah, this place is a bit of a maze. It's not too bad, but since we're going against all the trainers anyway, it's not too much of a hassle. Mind you, I said not too much, it's still a bit of a hassle. And there's just strictly the poison Pokemon. I guess that's just allotting to the whole Rocket connection here. That being said, I don't know why GEO-vanni didn't use these guys, because they actually have adequately leveled Pokemon, at least far more than his grunts did. So yeah, in case you haven't noticed by now, I'm really shocked if anybody's actually watching this and hasn't played up or had some inkling of, you know, what happens in these first gen games. But GEO-vanni is the gym leader. The boss of Team Rocket, yes, all that. Now, I will mention that at the end of all this, I forget to do something a little bit, tiny bit extra. If you talk to GEO-vanni again, he'll say he's going into hiding and actually go into hiding. He'll fade out just like with Jesse and James, and he'll be gone. It's nothing too major, but, you know, just allots to any future continuity that, with him leaving and all that. I believe this guy's going to be the last of the gym trainers we have to deal with, but then, of course, we have to leave the gym. Because whenever you leave the gym, despite any movement from trainers getting in your line of sight and them walking up to you, they'll reposition themselves, they'll reset back to their original positions, so you can walk around them as necessary. So that Nidoking would be a problem if I just wasn't a better Nidoking myself. Now, I also, as we start getting into this, we start heading to the gym leader. I gotta say, I was rather, I make two screw-ups, two mistakes in this fight, and one of them isn't my fault. One of them is, actually, I should probably reword that. Two things go wrong in this fight. One of them is my fault. One of them is stupid chance, because of GEO-vanni using guard specs on one of his Pokemon, and so I just miss an opportunity. It just goes to hell in a handbasket, to be completely honest. So, that being said, we don't lose, but we come the closest, and I just feel so bad considering how much of a non-threat he's been up to this point, but it just comes up to one screw-up on my part and one screw-up on the RNG's part, and it just makes it look so bad. But, with that being said, I'm not too disheartened because the rival fight is actually okay. It might actually be better than okay, now that I mentioned it, because I was going to wait to see how that fight turned out, whether or not I was going to scrap this recording. Okay, so this Dugtrio, I believe it has nothing but ground-type moves. Actually, oh no, I take it back, it probably has Slash, but, I believe, no, actually, no. I think that's only in red or blue. And you know what, it's either this one, I'll put an adaptation up there, whether it is red, blue, or just yellow, but one of his Dugtrios actually has nothing but ground-type moves. So you can have a level 5 Pidgey and just wheedle this thing down. It's just hilarious. Now, unfortunately, Hypnosis misses, and I get Hita gets Earthquaked to knock out because of that darn poison subtype it just happens to have. Now, thankfully, Eric is nice and bulky, so he can take it pretty good. Of course, any critical hit's going to be a bad, just bad for us. So at 1, Surf, Stab, takes it down. And we gain a level, you know? Nothing to complain about. Now, this Persian here is where the second screw-up comes in. So what I try to do here is, the Fury Swipes isn't a problem. This thing, like I said, might have said before in another video, is with Slash, period. This Persian loves to use Slash, so it's using Fury Swipes to whittle us down. And I think this thing almost gets the 5 hits on us, which isn't nice. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, this double kick isn't going to knock it out in one go, which isn't too bad. But of course, I just go for the heal, because, well, I need it. It's going to use Slash. I know it is. There you go. And of course, using Slash is almost always going to be just that, a critical. You know, I just say go with it. And he uses Guard Spec on the Persian, which isn't... that's probably what I was thinking of. I think he uses this again on another Pokemon. It's been a week or so since I recorded this, so forgive me if I get it wrong. I know there is one mess up with him using a trader item. So, right, this Nidoqueens are always more defensive. This shouldn't be too bad, but that level 53... Or, yeah, I think it's 53. I'm sorry, for whatever reason, when the Dazzle previews its videos, it's kind of more pixelated. But that's fine. So yeah, it doesn't quite knock it out. It goes for the Earthquake, and it knocks me out with its own Stab Earthquake, which is unfortunate. I switched into Pidgeotto here because I need to do some health management in my team. I think it's, yeah, I choose the Revive. I choose to Revive, I was thinking about Brandon. Actually, no, I was thinking about Kita. I wanted to go, just use Brandon to get some more experience on that, because Kita, she's actually really good with levels right now. Brandon will want it a little bit more, because he's going to be very useful for a couple of Pokemon that we're going to face in the Elite Four. So just go ahead and full heal him, because I do fully heal him. I do not want to have to deal with that Stab Earthquake, even if I just recovered from a Revive. And so Pidgeotto finally goes down. It's did its job. You know, even at any time, you know, substitute or effectively a scapegoat like your HM user takes a turn more than takes one more turn than usual, like, you know, survives. It's actually doing very well for you, so you can manage your team a little bit better. You know, revive them and then fully heal them. It's always great. Now he's gonna come up with his own Nidoking. So I use Brandon. Oh, sorry. So I switch out Brandon, put in Eric, so we can play it for its very low special stat with a stab surf. Okay, here's the second guard spec. I'm not sure whether I'll put again an annotation whether or not guard spec protects you from critical hits or protects you from status effects. I'm pretty sure it's status effect. But he gets off a Thunder, and that's not nice. Now, I'm thinking I'm okay because, you know, a Nidoking special isn't anything to worry about, but yeah, that still does a nasty amount of damage. And don't worry about that bubble either, we're going to be taking care of that for a better move later. Now this Rhydon, it's very powerful of course, but it's nothing too much to worry about. It carries Fissure, that is a bit of a problem, so I go ahead and pick Kate out here, because in Generation 1, if a Pokemon uses Earthquake to a Pokemon that's using Dig, it still misses. Now unfortunately, this thing's defensive bulk is pretty up there. So yeah, that definitely did not go how I wanted to. I am sorry. Kate's used as a special, as a speed, or not special attacker, a fast attacker. And unfortunately that Rhydon just has too much bulk. Now I really don't know what I was thinking here, I was just playing for its rock type. I should have gone with the Earthquake. This was my major blunder here. I should have gone for the Earthquake. I don't know what happened or what I was thinking. I may have pressed the button too fast. I may have not, but I fully own that mistake. So yeah, unfortunately Brandon gets knocked out again. Gigaton is not a good choice because being part ground, that thing is immune to electric moves. So I've got to have Eric take it out. I'm going to just hit it all away with that stab surf. Now since I am here, I figure I go ahead and try to just use Gigaton as much as I can, maybe get a few more turns in to manage my Pokemon team. And I confuse him with the Supersonic, but as you see here, he unfortunately gets off the Earthquake, and that's not going to be nice, being a mono-type electric. Unfortunately, getting the added second type of Steel in next gen will not help in dealing with Earthquakes anymore in the future, but I guess that's just something you have to deal with. Now thankfully it does get the ability Sturdy, which will save it from such situations, but that's not here right now. So we just go ahead and do as I say, hit it with Stab Surf, and we finally take it out. So yeah, that was easily the roughest battle I've had in this LP, and I feel very bad about that. But thankfully the rival battle is the exact opposite. I think almost everything right, or that can go my way, goes my way. So yes, he finally gives us TM27, which is Fissure. That Rhydon, I believe, has Fissure. His Dugtrio probably does too. Fissure, the one-hit KO moves, like Fissure and Horn Drill, aren't too much to worry about, at least not in the games. They are a pain in the you-know-what in the stadium fights, but that's another story for another time. So now that we finally got all the gym badges, we can head towards Victory Road, but of course we have our rival fight to deal with. Always prudent to heal up. And then we'll head straight out. I don't know what I looked at my trader card there. Oh, right, to show off that we have all the badges. Silly me. We have a pretty good amount of money, too, which is always going to help as we go to fight the Elite Four. So yeah, go ahead and start to maneuver my team around here for the rival battle. Now, he's always going to lead with his Sand Slash. I'm not sure why I didn't go ahead and put Eric up first. I think it's because I'm going to do that. Maybe I do just lead with Kita. But anyway, you go over to this guy. You can get it as soon as you have Surf. Of course, Fly HM makes it much easier to get back here. You Surf over there, he'll give you the TM for Dream Eater. We don't need it. I get it strictly for money because Kita learned it naturally. And then, of course, you run into the very low-level Pokemon. It's almost silly looking at these Pokemon's levels now after all this. And as we move over here, I get Jerkface. Always happens to be one step ahead of us, but just seems to wait ahead anyway, just so he can fight us, which is perfectly fine. I'll use all the experience I could need, or I could use. And so again, he leaves with his Sand Slash. Just going to love using Slash. It has Earthquake by now, I'm pretty sure. So I was banking on the Hypnosis, and I don't get it. He goes for the Slash, which I'm actually grateful for. He misses. So I go ahead and I keep trying to put him to sleep, and we just keep going back and forth like this. I don't know if he's just planning. He's probably over his AI was probably overthinking that. Well, obviously, like, I'm baiting him to try and use Earthquake, so he uses Slash to hit whatever I switch into, but obviously, and thankfully, it doesn't work. So I finally put him to sleep and start hitting him with the Mega Drain. And just keep going until I'm pretty sure it knocks out. And that is a 1 health Sand Slash, ladies and gentlemen. It held on using Sturdy. Or Endure in this case. So I just say screw it, I'm gonna use the Dream Eater. Why? For variety. I just I knew I had attack animation. That's entirely why I used Dream Eater there. Okay, this Execute, nothing at all scary, but it is going to allude to the fact that he's going to have an Executor in his final team. So, Cage is just going to Fire Blast this thing into oblivion! And there we have it. I'm fairly certain this thing can't survive a Fire Blast from a Ninetales, so yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, this Cloyster. Cloysters, as I've said many times before, have awesome defense, but terrible, terrible special. So we're just gonna zap it to oblivion with Gigaton. Please don't choose Supersonic. And I guess it goes without saying, you're gonna make 1 or 2, even, you know, now I wouldn't say seasoned, but experienced Pokemon players are gonna make 1 or 2 bonehead moves. Just because he thought he could just mess around and try something different. So he has his own Magneton over here, but it's nowhere near as awesome as ours. Because ours has a nickname. He's gonna have Brandon go ahead and smash it. Now that thing does have, it has Sonic Boom, which is a big deal. It probably carries Supersonic, but thankfully we knock it out before it has a chance. So we're getting all our levels now, which is just fine with me. Alright, this Kadabra. This Kadabra is going to be a big issue when it evolves. Not right now, though. So for the Kadabra, since Brandon already leveled up, I know I definitely want to spread the experience around, so I throw it onto Kate so she can get some more levels under her belt. The problem is that, you know, it's specially charged, so its special defense is pretty high, so I decided to go for the physical Dig. I'm so glad I gave Dig to Ninetales. Gives it more type coverage as well. So yeah, see, level 45 to level 50 Kadabra almost knocks it out. That Psychic is going to hurt, but I'm very certain, unless it's a critical, of course, it's not going to one-hit KO. So yeah, if it was a critical, it would have one-shot Kate. So that Reflect is going to help it, or either it would have helped it if it had used it while it was at full health. So we go ahead and finish it off. Now, he has a Flareon, or he's had a Flareon, but it's going to be the higher leveled Flareon. This is probably the only point where I can imagine Flareon being half decent, because as the generations went on, they were not kind to Flareon at all. Its move pool was not as wide as it should be, and any other any other move that it could have access to did not complement the stats that it was being attributed. So yeah, it's nothing to worry about. Just go ahead and have Eric wash it away. And get another level. See, this is where all the levels were coming up. So yeah, this was a really awesome fight. Had a little fun with the whole Hypnosis Slash thing at the beginning, but that's about as far as it went. So yeah, Crybaby's gonna go off and lick his wounds and miraculously have a fully healed, high-level team at the end of the Elite Four. Surprise, surprise. So as we move on here, we'll end the part, and then we'll begin the next segment with the oh-so-enjoyable Victory Road. Victory Road, I can say right now, is going to be 1 1/4 video, and you'll see what I mean later. But next part is going to be solely Victory Road, so I'm debating whether or not I will do voiceover, music, or maybe a tiny bit of both. But until then, thank you very much, guys, for joining me. We got all 8 badges. We beat the rival one final time before we head off to the Elite Four, the whole point of all this. And I hope to see you guys next time for that. And I'll see you then. Take care.